Hello everyone, you're listening to the Earful Tower. My name is Oliver G. I'm an Australian guy in Paris looking for stories and trying to share them with you. And as I sit here with just a few days until the very end of 2019, well, part of me wants to reflect on the whole year, but I think it would take a lot longer than the 30 seconds that I have before this episode starts. But look, if I had to try, I'd say there's been ups and downs. The biggest down would be the Notre Dame Cathedral burning in April. Very heavy time for Paris. The up would be another year of podcasting and finishing a book and getting it published and people buying it on Kickstarter. Both of those things took up a lot of my time this year. But we're not here to talk about either of them today. We're here to break Eiffel Tower history and protocol at once. It's Camille from French Today. French Today is the company that does audiobooks that'll teach you French. And they've been the sponsor of this podcast for the whole year. Now, what you're about to hear, I say breaking protocol and making history. What that means is Camille is with me sort of doing a lesson. What we're doing is, there's a whole mix of things. I'll walk you through it before I get into it. It's the first kind of couple minutes is us just chatting. Then there's us speaking French. And that goes for about 6 minutes. So if you can't understand a word of French, you should try with that bit because we speak slowly and about easy things. We talk about my book, really, and the book launch party and a little bit more. But if you absolutely can't, skip forward 6 minutes where we get into a chat about language, a few rules, pronunciation, a particular word that causes a lot of people trouble. And then we sort of walk through one of the exercises in the French Today audiobooks. Now, obviously, they're the sponsor of the show. If you want to get a further 10% discount off their audiobooks, frenchtoday.com/earful12. If you're listening to this in 2020 or beyond, I can't help you with a discount, but you should go and check them out anyway at French Today. But frenchtoday.com/earful12, further 10% off. You're about to hear me and Camille talking, and just on a personal note, thanks so much for listening in 2019, and I'm very excited to see what'll come in 2020. But here we go, Camille from French Today and me speaking in English and French. Let's do it.
Bonjour Olivier.
Bonjour Camille, ça va?
Ça va bien, et toi?
Oui, en forme, comme d'habitude.
Super.
We've started in French there, Camille, but what we're really going to do is start a little bit in English before we get into the French section.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it normal that I'm nervous?
It is normal. You know what? I am nervous as well.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing. I think both of us we're in a bit of an interesting position with this episode in that I'm going to be, I don't know if I can say flexing my muscle, but I'm going to be trying to, I'm going to try and prove that I can speak a bit of French, and you're put under the microscope to show how you teach and correct French.
Yes, absolutely. And my voice is still not 100%, so I hope it will hold on.
Oh my God. It's all happening, Camille. It's all happening, and it's the end of the year. It's the end of the year as well. Everything can go wrong.
And quite a year for you, Olivier. Well, I'm going to be calling you Oliver and Olivier. Like, I already have to switch between French and English, so if I have to think of how I have to pronounce your name, I'm so sorry, but it's probably not going to work for me. So, is it okay?
That's the least of my concerns. Do you know, I got an email in from so a follower of yours and a follower of mine, and because you and I have talked a few times about doing episodes with more French in it, and I got an email in recently from someone really encouraging me to do it, and I actually responded to him and said, I don't think so, but here we are.
Here we are.
So maybe you could explain a little bit about that, this lesson that we're about to get into, and then we can just switch to French for a little bit and see how that goes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolument. So I thought that first we would chat a little bit in French and just, I will not correct you too much, just encourage you to speak about your weekend or whatever. And then I've asked you for today to prepare a chapter in my book, Level 3, in the intermediate audiobook series. So the intermediate method à moi Paris, we're going to be taking L3 and studying chapter 8 together. And just before you read in French, I will explain a little bit the concept of tu everything or all in French, and mostly concentrate on the pronunciation of tout in French.
Tout.
Yes, tout.
I'm cheating. I'm cheating ahead of time. This is interesting because this is a lesson. This is something, if people listening are new to this show right now, to the Eiffel Tower, what I've been doing all year during this collaboration with French Today is I've been ending the episodes with things I've learned from the audiobooks. And I've always wanted to touch on this, the French word T-O-U-S or T-O-U-T or so on and so on. But I've always found it too difficult to explain in 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm really glad that we can roll out the year with this one. Although I'm also a little bit nervous about that I might look stupid.
Mais non, Olivier, mais non. Une très bonne transition pour commencer à parler en français. Tu es d'accord?
Okay. Wait. Hang on. Should I speak slower than usual, considering some people at home maybe don't speak great French, or should we just speak as normal?
Un petit peu plus lentement. Comme ça, tu as plus de temps pour réfléchir. C'est très bien.
Ok.
C'est toujours une bonne idée, en français, de parler un petit peu plus lentement. Si vous parlez plus lentement, alors la personne avec qui vous parlez va aussi parler plus lentement. Et tout le monde gagne.
Je suis d'accord.
Alors, Oliver, dis-moi, parle-moi un peu de ce livre.
Le livre que j'ai écrit?
Oui, absolument, ton livre.
Ah oui, c'est un peu étrange de discuter le livre parce que c'est la première fois que j'ai discuté que j'ai parlé de mon livre en français. Alors,
c'est la première fois que tu parles du livre en français?
Exactement.
D'accord.
Et oui, je ne sais pas si on utilise le mot mémoire en français, mais j'imagine que c'est un mot français, mémoire.
Écoute, oui, je pense. Je suis pas sûre comme ça. Tu peux dire ce sont mes souvenirs.
Mes souvenirs. C'est un roman.
Je ne sais pas. C'est un roman, oui. J'ai l'impression c'est romancé. Donc il y a une petite histoire.
Oui, il y a un peu d'aventure, un peu de romance.
Oui, d'amour. Un peu d'amour.
Oui, exactement. Et c'est quelque chose que j'ai fait pendant 2 ans.
Okay.
Et c'était un peu difficile d'écrire parce que l'histoire de ma vie, ça continue.
Oui, bien sûr.
Chaque jour. Alors, c'est difficile de trouver la fin. Oui,
la fin et aussi le temps pour écrire, je suppose.
Exactement. Et c'est difficile parce que je vais continuer d'habiter ici à Paris. Mm-hmm. Mais en tout cas, j'ai écrit le roman et il y a 5-6 jours, j'ai fait un grand événement à Paris.
Oui, je sais, malheureusement, je n'ai pas pu venir à cause des grèves. Il y a des grèves de train et je voulais vraiment venir et être là pour te soutenir et montrer mon enthousiasme pour la sortie du livre.
Imagine que c'était pas que toi avec le problème avec le grève et les trains et tout comme ça, mais les gens qui habitent ici à Paris, parce que pour les gens qui écoutent, qui ne savent pas, Camille habite à Paimpol.
Ouais, les gens qui ne savent pas.
Pour les gens qui ne savent pas, Camille habite à Paimpol et c'est loin de Paris.
Ouais, j'habite en Bretagne.
Ouais. Mais les gens qui habitent ici à Paris, c'était difficile aussi pour prendre le train et j'ai des amis qui ont marché pendant 1 heure juste pour être là.
Oh, ce sont des bons amis, des amis qui ont marché pendant 1 heure. Waouh!
Wow,
c'est chouette.
Exactement. Oui, c'est chouette. Mais c'était c'était très bien et je pense qu'il y avait 40, 50 peut-être qui étaient là à Coutume Café et j'ai lu les premières 2 pages
super.
du livre.
Et tu as reçu de grands applaudissements. Tout le monde a applaudi à la fin. C'était chouette.
Ouais, c'est étrange aussi, c'est bizarre parce que c'est la première fois que j'ai lu quelque chose que j'ai lu.
Oui, parfait, c'était parfait.
Oui, je me souviens ouais. C'est la première fois que j'ai lu quelque chose que j'ai écrit pour 50 personnes et c'était bizarre, mais c'est cool. Et j'ai fait en direct, un live stream aussi pour les gens aux États-Unis et en Australie. Et ouais, c'était cool. Et,
Ouais, j'ai vu le live stream pour être un peu au courant et pour suivre les aventures de Oliver G. in Paris.
Ouais. Et c'était quoi ton impression de le premier 2 pages?
Eh bien, j'étais surprise parce que je ne pensais pas que ça serait aussi romancé. Je ne pensais pas qu'il y aurait une histoire comme ça. Moi, je suis une grande fan de Lord of the Ring. Alors, bien sûr, j'ai adoré l'image. Et puis, c'était super parce que je te connais bien et je connais bien Lina, mais je ne connaissais pas l'histoire de la façon dont tu as demandé à Lina de l'épouser. Ça, c'est une phrase un peu compliquée. Je ne connaissais pas l'histoire de ta demande en mariage pour Lina. Et c'était charmant. J'ai trouvé ça absolument charmant, adorable et véridique. Voilà.
Et quoi? Et véridique?
Véridique. Ça sentait la vérité. On voyait que c'était quelque chose que tu avais pu peut-être faire pour de vrai.
Ouais. Ah ouais, mais c'est la vérité.
Alors si c'est la vérité, c'est vraiment charmant.
Mais merci beaucoup, hein. Merci.
Bah, je t'en prie, Oliver, c'est vrai, tu sais.
Ah ouais, c'est cool.
Voilà. Alors justement, maintenant, je pense we can switch to English a little bit.
Oh my goodness,
so,
now I can
are
talk.
you feeling a little bit better about yourself?
I was thinking while we were talking what people at home, because I know there are a lot of French people who listen to this, and I think they'll find that quite amusing. And I know there's a lot of French-speaking foreigners who will also find, I imagine a lot of people will be thinking, I'm better than Oliver, or I'm not up to Oliver's. I think people will be, putting it on like a scale at home right now. And
No,
I
I don't think people are going to be judging or anything.
You don't think?
No,
not
I think
necessarily
people
judging. It's kind of like, I think putting understanding maybe not judging.
I think understanding that it's okay to make some mistakes, and that I think you're going to be encouraging them to say, well, if he can do it, so can I, and you just have to take a leap of faith and go for it.
As people say, if you're feeling uncomfortable, it usually means a sign that you're growing, and that's what I think too. So let's go with that.
Yes, and for us, it's particularly complicated because we're being recorded, and you are being recorded speaking French. I'm being recorded speaking English.
It's upside down world today. That's what's happening. But remind me, because it was actually 2 years ago. To the day, very recently, that of the day that I proposed to Lena. What's the easiest way to say I proposed to someone? Is it j'ai demandé?
En mariage, oui.
En mariage.
Oui. J'ai fait ma demande en mariage.
J'ai fait ma demande au mariage. Okay.
En mariage.
Okay,
j'ai fait ma demande en mariage.
J'ai fait ma demande au mariage. Okay,
voilà.
I got it.
Voilà.
En mariage. Yep.
Il y a plusieurs façons de le dire. But
can't you just have one word for it, Camille, please? Can you say proposer?
No. Proposer is just to offer something. Je peux te proposer du thé, Olivier?
Okay, yeah. Well, that's... Yeah,
and that just means, would you like some tea? Okay, may I offer you some tea? So, c'est... it has to do with demander. Demander en mariage, or demander de m'épouser. Ask to marry me, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Okay, so today, as I said, as like to just give a little formality to the lesson, I've asked you what was something that was complicated for you in French, and you told me you were always very confused with this tout, T-O-U-T thing. And you're not the only one. So I thought it would be a good subject. As I've asked you to study this ahead of time in my audiobook level 3 of the intermediate method à moi Paris. And so for the people who have it at home, you can follow what I'm going to be saying. It's on chapter 8 of L3 in the intermediate level. So there's lots of different ways to explain tout, okay? But today I don't want to spend too much time on the grammar part because I know that grammar scares a lot of person. I want to mostly speak of the pronunciation of tout, okay? So I will start with the feminine because the feminine is quite easy. When tout is spelled T-O-U-T-E or T-O-U-T-E-S in the feminine, it's always, no exception, pronounced tout.
Tout.
Tout. Very good. So you have a T sound, a OU sound, and then another T. Tout.
Tout. Tout.
Yes, it's important that you pronounce the final T, the E and the S if it's there. The E and the S are silent, but the final T is pronounced tout.
Tout.
Okay.
Tout. Everyone at home, I hope you're repeating this no matter where you are. On the train, in the tractor, I don't care. Tout.
In the tractor. Yes, you do that from time to time. So tout in the feminine is always going to be tout. Okay? Now, T-O-U-T is most of the time going to be pronounced tout. Can you repeat after me, Oliver? Tout.
Yes. Tout.
Yes. So that final T, although it is spelled T-O-U-T, that final T is silent. Tout.
Tout. Tout.
Okay?
Tout.
Okay. So let's take some examples. In the feminine, let's say toutes les femmes.
Toutes les femmes.
Ouais. All
Toutes
the women.
Les femmes.
Toutes les
All
femmes.
the women. Toutes les femmes.
Okay. In the feminine again, toute la journée.
Toute la journée. Toute
Every
la
day,
journée.
all day long, toute la journée.
Toute la journée avec toutes les femmes.
C'est dur, hein, la vie. Okay. Now, to use it as a pronoun, you can say les femmes parisiennes, je les aime toutes.
Les femmes parisiennes, je les aime toutes.
Voilà. All this is the feminine, and as you can see, no matter what the grammatical function of tout, it's going to be pronounced toutes.
Toutes.
Okay?
Toutes.
Now we talked about tout in the masculine singular, which is T-O-U-T, tout. And let's take some example. An example, come on. Tout le monde.
Tout le monde.
And we
Tout
kind
le
of
monde.
glide that one. Tout le monde.
Tout le monde.
Voilà.
Tout le monde.
Tout le monde.
Tout le monde.
Je veux tout.
Je veux tout.
Yeah, I want everything. Je veux tout.
Je veux tout.
Very good. Okay. Now, the big problem about tout and all the different spellings is when tout is spelled T-O-U-S.
Yes, this is where it gets. This is where it confuses people, I think, including
Yes.
myself.
Exactly. And, you know, myself, when it comes to explaining it, I actually had to do quite some research for that. Okay. So, tout with an S can be pronounced two very different ways. It can be pronounced tout, and the S is silent, or it can be pronounced tous, and the S is pronounced. So, can
Okay.
you give me the two version?
So the first version is tout, and the second version is tous.
So when do you know how to pronounce one or the other?
The
Well-
truth is, no one knows. Is
Yes.
it true?
Well, yes and no. The grammatician may know. French people usually don't know, and they'll give you a terrible explanation. But French people know because they've repeat sentences enough that it sounds good to their ear. And that's
Right.
as simple as that. So, tous is pronounced tous when it means all of us.
Tous.
All of us, or all of them, or all of, and then a group of people that you are replacing. So
Is this the indefinite adjective?
it's an indefinite
Yes.
pronoun. It's a pronoun when it replaces.
Yes, right. So it's the
a group
equivalent
of
in English
people.
of like all or both or few, words like that. See,
Yes.
this is difficult for people in English as well, especially because we don't always learn grammar when we're learning our own language.
And I know that, and that's something very important for me as a teacher, is to explain things in words that my students can understand. And the truth is that my experience, at least, is that a lot of English speakers have not really studied grammar structure in school or don't remember it. You know, it was a long time ago. And when methods and teacher keep shoving at them like adjectives and pronouns and, you know, past participles and or the indirect object pronoun,
Right.
they don't understand. It's like speaking another language. So I don't do that in my books. I always find a way to,
Exactly.
really
And that's why your
explain
method
things.
is so good, Camille. That's why it
Thank you.
works. It's why I even wrote about this in my book, how the French teachers in France especially can be really hard on you. And I know I've said it to you before, but it's a big deal here. And I hate the way that old-fashioned drill sergeant technique goes.
Yeah, that I really think there's, you cannot avoid studying some grammar in French, but you don't have to know the names of all these things. I mean, it's not, the importance is that you are able to use them correctly, not that you know that it's a pronoun or an adjective or whatever. So, but back to tous. So when tous replaces a group of person, that's actually what a pronoun does, then you will pronounce the S in the masculine. Right. So let me, give you in the masculine plural, okay? So let me give you some example. Vous êtes tous là.
Vous êtes tous là.
Means everybody is here. You all have arrived. You are all gathered here, okay? Vous êtes tous là.
Vous êtes tous là.
Vous avez tous choisi.
Vous avez tous choisi?
Did everybody order? Has everybody made a choice? And you see here the tous can mean all of you, all of them, all of us, depending what it refers to.
Right.
Okay?
And you hear that a lot in cafes and restaurants.
Yeah. Ils commencent tous à boire.
Ils commencent tous à boire.
They all start to drink. Okay? And in this case, the S is pronounced and it's strong in French. It's there's, you really hear it.
Yeah.
Okay?
I call it a snake S. It's almost as if there's 3 S's there.
Yes, it's really long. And then, on the other hand, tous, T-O-U-S, the S is going to be silent when most of the time, it's going to be followed by a les. And that's a good thing to remember. So it's always, not always, but it is most of the time tous les.
Tous les choses.
Okay. Voilà. So tout, you said a feminine. So that would be toutes les choses.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I'm nervous because I'm being recorded.
Yes, of course. And
Give
it's
me some
okay,
examples. Tous
les jours.
Tous les jours, exactly.
Tous les jours, tous les ans.
Tous les ans, ouais, okay.
Voilà. So voilà. So that's, I'm going to stop here for tous and toutes and so on. If you want to know more about it and if you want a more structured approach, that's something too. Like, podcasts are fun to follow, but to explain something, it's better when the teacher has had time actually to think and prepare and get the explanation in a logical, in a paced way that makes sense to the student.
And I realize that a lot of people who maybe are listening for the first or second time to this show might not realize that in I say audiobooks, there's text as well. And this is all spelled out very clearly in English and French where you can listen to it at street speed or slower speed and sit there on your tractor repeating. I say tractor. I only say tractor because I know someone once wrote in from their tractor in Texas, and that's probably my favorite listener ever, whoever you are. But you can repeat it and you can read it and you can hear as you're going. So it's a lot. It's got the structure you need, is what I'd say.
And that's a perfect transition, Oliver, because now we're going to go back to French and back to you, and to actually illustrate this explanation of tu and tout. In my book, there's actually one of these little stories that you're referring to, and you're going to see that there is a lot of tu and tout and tous, etc. in this story. And I'm going to ask you to read it, Oliver.
And everyone has to forgive me if I get it wrong because I'm under pressure. But I'm excited. Pressure makes diamonds. That's what I say. Okay, so we're reading. People can read along at home if they want. It's À moi Paris level 3. And I'm looking at section 8, which is called Arrivé au restaurant.
Yes, and I'm going to ask you to read not too fast, so I have time to correct if there's something that I really want to correct. And if I do correct something, please repeat. Repeat just what I've correct and go on.
Okay? Story. That bit is in English. And I will not read the English translations. That is for you guys to do at home. Here we go. Nous sommes samedi soir et tous les amis se retrouvent au James Joyce.
Très bien.
Marie, although really it should be Mary.
Yes.
But I'll do it in French accent. Marie et Rosa arrivent ensemble au pub.
Voilà.
Pub.
So here you can
Pub.
make so it's up to you. It's an English word, so you can pronounce it. You can say pub.
Did you hear my liaison in there, by the way? Arrivent ensemble.
Voilà, arrivent ensemble. That's very formal to do this liaison.
I'm a pretty formal guy. You maybe didn't know that about me.
So you can do it or you can skip it. You can say arrivent ensemble.
To be honest, I think I would skip
ensemble.
it. Marie et Rosa arrivent ensemble au pub.
Voilà, très bien.
Okay.
And now there's going to be several people speaking, so for the audience, it's not really...
No, I'll make it clear. I'll do accents. I'll do man and woman, okay?
Great.
So man
Go
is
for
Patrick and then Mary. Les voilà. Bonsoir, mon chéri. Elle embrasse Patrick. Oh là là, vous êtes tous déjà là. On est en retard, désolé.
Très bien. You want maybe to glide this one. On est en retard.
On est en retard. On est en retard.
Glide over you, I. On est en retard.
On est en retard. On est en retard.
On est
Désolé.
en retard.
Pas de problème. Say again. Pas de problème. On vient d'arriver. Tout le monde! Je vous présente Rosa qui travaille au resto avec Claudia et moi. That was Mary's voice.
Yeah, but your tout le monde was perfect.
Oh, good. Rosa et Mary font le tour de la table et embrassent tous leurs amis.
Oui.
2 fois. Okay, well, I pause there, but that's obvious. Tous leurs amis, 2 fois, comme on fait à Paris. Marie s'assit à côté de Patrick et Rosa à côté de Grégoire. A new character, Greg. That's hard for me to say. In fact, I know a lot of people struggle with French names when they have 2 R's in them, like Frédéric and Grégoire.
Grégoire, I chose it just for that because
Really?
it was complicated
Yeah.
and I thought it would give a good training for the students.
Grégoire. He says, dure journée aujourd'hui? Rosa responds, oh là là, m'en parle pas.
Yes, very good. There's a strong gliding here.
Yeah.
We say m'en parle pas, the ne disappears. M'en parle pas.
M'en parle pas. Il n'y a que des problèmes en ce moment au restaurant. Ce matin, quelqu'un a cassé une bouteille de vin et cet après-midi, quelqu'un d'autre a renversé quelque chose en sauce. Il y avait de la sauce partout.
And you may want to glide that even more, your il y a.
Il y avait,
You can say y avait.
Yeah.
Y avait de la sauce partout.
Il y avait de la sauce partout. Okay. And then Gregoire responds with a very one of my favorite lines here. Ma pauvre.
Yes, it's
Ma
almost
pauvre.
sing-songy. Ma pauvre.
It literally, does that mean like my poverty-stricken person? Is that what it means? Yeah, I love
Yes,
it.
poor
Ma
you.
pauvre. En plus, il fait très beau en ce moment. Ça doit être difficile de travailler le week-end. Enfin, j'aime bien le restaurant où vous travaillez. C'est bon. Il y a une bonne ambiance et les serveuses sont charmantes.
C'est bien. Bravo, Oliver. C'est super.
I think Greg is into those serveuses, if you ask me. Rosa responds that she's smiling. Elle sourit. Et toi, qu'est-ce que tu fais? Grégoire, moi, je suis en 3e année de médecine. Heureusement que mes parents payent pour mes études parce que, franchement, je ne vois pas comment je pourrais avoir un boulot à côté. That was a long sentence, so I struggled with the tone, but I think people are following. Rosa
You're doing fine, and your grouping is good too.
Thank
so
you.
That's nice.
I've always
sounds
I've
good.
always wondered what my grouping is like. So Rosa responds, médecine, c'est très dur. Tu sais quelle spécialité tu veux faire? She's flirting for sure. Greg, I'm calling him Greg now. He responds with the word in French ben, which is like ben.
Yeah.
We don't really have it in English, do we?
It means it's one of these words that I'm very careful to actually put a lot of them in my dialogues.
Right, I've noticed.
Because they totally throw off students because they've never heard it in dialogues, you know.
Sure.
But we use them all the time. We do make mistakes. We do hesitate, and we say ben. Et,
I hear that they say bon a
etc.
lot. Bon, is that still ben when they go bon?
Bon is B-O-N,
Yeah,
and it's usually, let's go back to what we were speaking, you know, like bon.
Yeah,
It's kind of, okay, I hear you, but now let's move on to, let's go back to the main subject.
Ben, j'aime beaucoup les enfants, donc peut-être pédiatre, mais je suis pas sûr.
Very good. Je suis pas sûr. Je suis pas sûr.
I live in Paris, what can I say?
Yes, you're doing a lot of glidings. I like that.
I'm glad. Okay, so the waiter arrives, le serveur arrive, les conversations s'arrêtent. Do you remember, Camille, about 6 months ago, I would have said le conversation?
Yes, you don't even remember how to not say it properly.
You've taught me a lot, in all seriousness. You've taught me a lot. Okay, le conversation s'arrête. And the server says, vous avez, okay, good Lord, vous avez tous choisi?
Yes, all of you. So each time you say all of, including a group, of people, then it's going to be tous. Very good, Oliver. Well done.
Thank you. Patrick responds, non, je crois qu'on a encore besoin d'un peu de temps. Mais on peut commencer par commander à boire. Marie, tu veux quoi? Mary responds, moi, je voudrais une Guinness, s'il vous plaît. Claudia responds, c'est une bonne idée. Une autre, I like that. I would never say that in a pub. Une autre, as in, I would say like une deuxième. Is that okay?
Then you're just counting them, but une autre is more, it's probably what we would say because maybe there's going to be a third one and so on.
Sure.
I don't know. Une autre is what we would say there.
Une autre. I'm going to use that in my next experience in a bar. Pierre says, moi, je vais prendre une Black and Tan. Patrick, c'est quoi ça? Pierre, c'est de la Guinness avec une bière blonde. Quand c'est bien servi, le deux ne se mélangent pas et ça fait un verre avec 2 bières.
Parfait.
Yeah, he's a student, obviously. Trying to get Patrick, je ne connais pas, mais je vais essayer. Et toi, Sophie, tu prends quelque chose?
Glide those a little bit more.
Okay.
Je connais pas, mais je vais essayer.
Ok, je connais pas, mais je vais essayer.
Ouais.
Et toi, Sophie, tu prends quelque chose? Une Evian, s'il vous plaît. She just wants the water.
Yeah.
Rosa, et moi, un Coca, s'il vous plaît. Le serveur prend toutes les commandes, puis revient avec toutes les boissons. Prends la commande de repas et repart. Oh, a little wordplay there. Patrick, je propose un toast pour Marie. Marie, à tes parents et au plaisir de t'avoir avec nous. Tous, everyone says,
yes.
à Marie, chin chin. Ils commencent tous à boire et à discuter. Patrick se penche vers Marie et lui demande discrètement,
Qui est-ce que... how would you say that? Qui est-ce que ce type là-bas?
No, there's no que there.
Qui est-ce? Ah, yeah. Qui est-ce ce type là-bas? Qui est-ce ce type là-bas à côté de Claudia? Mary répond, il s'appelle Pierre. Je pense que c'est son nouvel intérêt romantique. Ah, c'est pour ça qu'elle s'est fait toute belle ce soir. En tout cas, bon courage à lui. And Mary responds, oh Patrick, tu es méchant. T'es méchant.
T'es méchant.
She might even have
méchant.
said, t'es chômé. Chômé. Little bit of backwards.
No, Mary's not that hip. Come on.
No, she's not that hip. Is it her drinking water? Was that her? No, she drank Coca-Cola?
No. Mary is a beer kind of drinking guy. She's not drinking water.
Yeah, that's right. She had a Guinness. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, I think I got all the twos and the two and the toot correct.
You did, and I was impressed. It's really good. Excellent.
Thank you. I planned actually to cheat and have notes, but I didn't do it. So that was real. That was for realsy there, Camille.
Yeah, I promise you, with training, you will get over these tooth and toot thing. When I say get over it, it doesn't mean that you won't have to think about it a little bit. There, for me in English, there are words when I have to pronounce them, it's complicated and I have to focus. It's one of them.
One of them.
And be careful when I say that. And it's the same thing for people learning French. There are some words that are a little bit challenging. And reading something with a tooth or a two, you have to wonder and just go fast in your head. And hopefully when you do it over and over and over again with audio, you'll develop an ear for it.
Definitely. Audio is the best way to do anything. Podcasts, audio books, learning French, listening. I mean, it's the way forward, Camille. This is me and you. This is our job, audio.
Perfect. Alors, je vais te poser des petites questions maintenant, un tout petit peu, juste pour te faire parler. Okay. Donc, dis-moi, est-ce que tu bois du café?
Oui, je bois du café.
Et tu bois du café tous les jours?
Oui, je bois du café. Je bois du café tous les jours.
D'accord. Et tu mets du sucre dans ton café?
Pas du tout.
Pas du tout, d'accord. Tu n'en mets jamais?
One more time.
Tu n'en mets jamais. Tu ne mets jamais de sucre.
Oui, je n'en mets jamais.
Tu n'en mets jamais, d'accord. Et qu'est-ce que tu fais tous les matins?
Tout le matin, c'est tout le matin que je bois du café, en fait.
Ah, d'accord. Et est-ce que tu bois tout ton café?
Oui, je bois tout ton café.
Tu bois tout ton café?
Oui, yes.
Est-ce que tu bois tout ton café?
Oui, je bois tout mon café.
Oui, absolument, oui.
Wow, I'm back learning again. This is amazing.
Mon mari, Olivier, ne boit jamais tout son café.
Pourquoi pas?
Parce qu'il laisse toujours un petit peu de café et toute la journée, son café est là et un petit peu plus tard, il va finir son café.
Ouais, mais ça arrive jamais ou quoi? C'est juste...
Quelquefois, il boit tout son café, mais souvent, il laisse un petit peu de café et il finit plus tard.
Mais moi, je pense qu'à Paris, avec le prix pour un café, il faut que je bois tout mon café.
Il faut que tu boives tout ton café.
Oh, no, I'm not doing subjunctive. No, I don't know what I got myself in for. Go on, okay, I'll say it right. Il faut que je boive. Okay.
Ouais, but it's no big deal. I understood you perfectly. So please, students out there, stop obsessing about the French subjunctive, okay? If you are advanced speakers and you really want to nail it, great. But if you are an intermediate speaker, there's so much more. There's so many more priorities. People will understand you, even if you make a mistake. So
definitely, because when you start speaking, I've got to a level now where I can talk to people and I could hire a car or fix a bank problem or whatever. And I know I'm making mistakes, but it feels so nice to be able to have that conversation with people, even if there are errors in there, you know?
Great. So your homework is going to be today and in the rest of the week to shove a tout or a toute in all your sentences in French.
Every single one. Okay. No, I definitely will. I'll
when
throw
you
a few
interact and so on, try to even just say c'est tout. Is that it?
C'est tout.
C'est tout.
Je bois tout mon café.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I will. I'll do it and I'll report back to you.
Great. So I think that concludes my part of the lesson. Is there anything you'd like to add, my dear?
I would not. No, what I would like to add, though, is two things. Firstly, it's the end of the year. So even though you and I recorded this a little bit ahead of the end of the year, people will be listening to this in the very last days of 2019. So there will be a Christmas sort of come down and a New Year's excitement ahead of everybody.
Yes.
So my first question was, how do you say Happy New Year in French?
How do you say Happy New Year in French? Bonne année.
You're not really French, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm in an English mood right
Bonne
now.
année, bonne année.
Just, I was trying to find something a little bit. I was stuck in Joyeux Noël to start with.
Joyeux Noël, that's for Christmas. And then bonne année for
Joyeux
the New
Noël.
Year.
Je vous souhaite de joyeuses fêtes de fin d'année. That's the long thing. Okay.
Whoa, okay, we can forget that one. But bonne année will work for now.
Bonne année. Bonne année. Bonne santé.
On a sort of reflective note, I just wanted to say thank you to you, Camille, and to your husband, Olivier, who maybe is listening, for taking the plunge to sponsor this show, the Eiffel Tower, for a whole year. And firstly,
it's been a pleasure.
Well, thanks so much for being part of it, and not just that, for doing all the the extra bits along the side, welcoming us when we came through Brittany, and supporting my Kickstarter for the book. You guys are very generous and kind, and you're forever friends of the show. And I think a lot of the regular listeners have joined in on this sort of journey with you guys, it being part of it as well. And so
it's because we believe in you, Oliver. We believe in you, and we love Lina as well, and you deserve it. You deserve a huge success, and everything that you want should become a reality. You're really talented, so I'm sure all the listeners will agree with me. And Olivier and I were very, very happy and, feel honored to be part of your journey. So
you're too kind. But thank you. You guys have said that from the beginning, and that means a lot to me. You believed in me before other people even had a chance to. So thank you for that. But the second thing is also thank you for the whole year. And as I've got this new book out, I'm moving in a kind of different direction that will see me trying to promote that and touring around, maybe even in the United States, which means a lot more time talking about that and the journey of the book. So the French Today journey, or at least this chapter of the audiobook, is coming to an end with this year. But that doesn't mean that I don't look forward to walk shows and other podcast appearances in the future with you, if you dare to go live on camera with me, Camille.
That will be a big challenge for me, but I've been training, doing my little videos myself, so hopefully, I will be up to the challenge, and I'm sure we'll be, in touch again, and I'll be appearing on the show, and
Absolutely.
we'll be cross-promoting.
The pleasure will be all mine, and I think it's probably time that I come back up to Brittany again and see what's cooking up in those parts of the woods. So maybe that'll happen before you know it as well.
That would be awesome. We have a guest bedroom. You're welcome anytime, you and Lina, whenever you want.
Thank you so much. Well, that winds it up for this episode and for this year. Merci encore.
Mais je t'en prie, Oliver.
Thanks
bravo
for all that you've taught me as well. I feel like I learned so much French through you, so thank you for that. But that winds it up. So I'll play the outro music now, and I'll just say a big thank you for everything that you've done, Camille. Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bonne année.
Bonne année, exactement.